Hi everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to make some cheer hair bows. I have a 4-year-old who loves hair bows and wanted me to make her some. So I started off with a couple of different sized ribbons. The jagged stripe one is 2.5 inch, the solid blue is 2 inch, and then I have two accent colors which are 5/8 of an inch. For this, you will need scissors, a lighter, hair ties, and zip ties. The zip ties I have are 4 inch. And this is a finished one that I did already. It is important to get a smaller zip tie just because you will be cutting the end off. So this was 4 inches, pretty small, that I was able to find, and they're pretty thin, so it worked out pretty well. Alright, so when you measure out your ribbon, you want to get about 30 inches, give or take. I'm not, 100% accurate on that measurement. I just eyeballed it and they all came out great, so I don't think you need to have an exact measurement. This ribbon that I got is from the Dollar Tree, and I wasn't sure if the wired ribbon would work or not. That's why I got two different kinds, and I think it turned out just fine. The first thing you want to do is you're going to want to make almost like an awareness ribbon by folding one end over the other. And because it is a wired end, it was a little bit easier for me to visualize and pat that down so I could see that it was in the right shape. Then holding the middle tightly, you want to hold the middle of the cross and bring down the middle of the awareness ribbon up the top down to where you're holding the crossed pieces of the ribbon. And sometimes that can be hard to hold on to, so if you have to, just unfold it and readjust and try again. So then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to do an accordion style fold where you start from the bottom and you fold in. You fold out, fold in, fold out, and you want to have the top, much like the bottom, you want to have the top folded in or down so it's not showing the front of the bow. And then using your zip tie and your hair elastic, you'll put those together but not really tight. You want to be able to make adjustments if needed, so just put them, and I kept doing it backwards, but you'll just lightly or loosely pull that zip tie through. And you can straighten out your bow, make sure that your ends are about the same length, and make any adjustments that you may need to do. The great thing is you can always cut that zip tie and just start over if you need to, because nothing's permanent at this point. Once you do find that you like the way it looks, pull the rest of that zip tie through and make it nice and tight as you can make it, and then trim off the end. For her hair bows, I really do like the fact that this is a wired ribbon because it'll hold its shape a lot better than the all blue ribbon that I showed at the beginning, and she's pretty rough on things, so I think that'll hold up better. This ribbon was so hard to get into. There's plastic film over it, I just could not pry it up. For the accent ribbon, you're going to want about 3 to 3.5 inches, making sure that you have enough to glue it in the back and make a rotation or two all the way around and end in the back, so that your bow looks complete and doesn't have the end showing in the front. This is a good thing to do, not only because it makes it look complete, but also because of the zip tie. You're covering that zip tie up with this accent ribbon. So not only is it going to look better, but you also won't have that maybe scraping into your, your kiddo's hair or getting caught or anything of that sort. So it really just completes it. And then just fluff it up, and it came out pretty good. Now I like to do the traditional ends. So the way I did that is you just fold the two sides together and cut diagonally. I fold them in to cut. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, but that's what I've done. And then I just use the lighter to secure those edges so that it won't fray. I do want to mention that this is a silkier type of ribbon, so just be careful with the lighter so you don't burn yourself. But this is how it came out, and it took just a few minutes to make. Super simple, and I'm sure I'll make a bunch of them for her in different colors and combinations, and yep, that's how it's done. Moving on, I'm going to combine those two different types of ribbon and make a bow that you traditionally will see on cheerleading teams, where it's like usually school colors on one side and accent color on the other. So I'm just going to combine the two. So where I normally measure out 30 inches, I'm just going to do 15, give or take, because I will be gluing them together. So like I said, I don't do exact measurements, but generalized about 30. Just kind of cut where it looked good and rough measurements. One thing I do want to mention is make sure you grab your zip tie and your hair elastic ahead of time, because once you already start putting that bow together, it's hard to get things out of the package and not lose how you've folded it and have it ready to go because you can't get your zip tie or hair elastic put together. So because there were two different sizes, they didn't fit exactly, but that middle part I'm not too concerned about because that's going to be behind the zip tie. It's going to be the cinched part of the bow, so that really didn't make a difference I did put an extra layer of hot glue just because I wanted to make sure that they were secure and actually going to fuse together and stick very well. Okay, so just like the first video, or the first bow, just fold it across, and you can choose which side you would like to have on top. I chose the pattern side for this bow, but it's really up to your preferences. And then you're just going to put it together the same way we did for the other bow. The more that you do them, the easier it is, and then you can just, really, it's just like whipping them right up. It just doesn't take much time at all. You do just want to make sure that they're even as even can be. You know, eyeballing it in rough measurements, just because it's easier when you go to trim up your ends. And again, when you fold, you do an accordion fold, starting at the bottom, and you fold down towards the back, and working your way to the top. And when you get to the top, that last fold you do should be also towards the back. This time I did not have my zip tie out, so I had to hold it with one hand and try to finagle it. I have a habit of putting the zip ties on backwards. So that's what you're seeing me do there, is just trying to figure out if I'm putting it on the correct way this time or not. And I still didn't put it down the right way, so I had to flip it over. And then just adjust everything at this point. You can push, you can pull, you can change how the bow looks at that point, because the zip tie is not really anchored down yet. And I did notice that one side was longer than the other, so I pulled it just to get it down there a little bit more. I wanted to make sure that the bow was still going to be even on both sides. And tighten down your zip tie. And trim up the zip tie. And then put your accent piece on. And the pattern on the outside wouldn't really match, so I just used the underneath side of this ribbon, and it matched the blue color, which was great. I could have, I'm sure, found a different one if I had tried, but that's what I had on hand. That was right there, so that's what I used. And when I put the accent pieces on, I just make sure that the nub of the zip tie and the hair elastic are both in the same area on the very back, thereabouts, just so I can make sure that they're covered when I put the accent piece on. Now for this accent piece, you could do rhinestones, you could do bling type ribbon if you chose. It's really up to you. I got all of my materials at the Dollar Tree, so I just picked out a couple of colors to try it out and see if I could complete the bows. But I plan to try doing more of these with some different combinations of colors and things. Here you're just seeing me spread out some of that glue. When I folded that last piece down, there was a bit of a bubble of glue, so I just spread it out. Again, I do my edges by folding the two pieces in and cutting a diagonal slice. Alright, and then I just, mess with it a little bit more and get it exactly how I want it. And there it is. A two-tone bow to match the blue bow and the patterned bow that I made previously. Thank you so much for watching.